Got another dog here with me now. When the girl goes through the selection process, just remember that everything you can be, create, and do will ultimately just be used by those who exploit us through a lifetime of well disguised lies. Even if you're a genius, you're the greatest inventor of all time, much like Nikola Tesla, the best inventions will be used by those who have the power to take what is yours. So that's why a lot of his inventions got turned into weapons. So even if you want to own your own business, you want to do all these things, most likely it's just going to be taken and used in ways that you never intended. Each hall is like the different sectors that the elites, manage. You have schools, you have hospitals, you have corporations, you have prisons. They oversee it all because they want to make sure that it is all running efficiently in the way that they desire. You have some guards who are perverts among their ranks, which goes hand in hand when you live as long as they do. Your taste just, the more power you have, the more control, it deteriorates your mind in ways that they think all the tastes that we have are very plebeian and average compared to them. And a lot of these things leak into the news, and they just get written off because they're thought to be too wild or too absurd. When you hear of what priests are doing to altar boys, or if you ever have seen the movie Eyes Wide Shut, what politicians really do behind closed doors. It all just gets jumbled into the list of conspiracies, and that's how I wanted to tie in the movie The Hunt, because if you've ever seen that movie, to me, they have every right to be arrogant because look at us, we're all just slaves. But just the audacity that they can make a movie that shows them hunting us for sport, and they talk about, they're not even afraid anymore. It's 2020s. They'll talk about the shadow government. They'll talk about crisis actors that they use to read from a script to later get the mind of the public to want whatever they want us to want. They formulate our opinions. So even when the girls find out what is being done to them, they want to automatically defend their oppressors like they're in some kind of Stockholm syndrome. Just like if you tell people the truth about government, capitalism, religion, most likely they will have that conditioned knee-jerk reaction, because for them to believe anything else would be too hard for them. Even if you're just trying to help them, which I know from experience makes it that much harder to continue to love the individual, we have to do it anyways because they've just been tricked. So afterwards, it gets to the point where the girls have to pretend and have to blend in like we have to, more or less, or else face punishment. And in my case, and a lot of other people who desire liberty, we're just biding our time until we can either escape on our own or preferably start a community that is voluntary and run by consent, not coercion, force. And man, I laughed to myself when the doctor said, "We care about you. The academy is your family." Such lies are spewed all the time if growing up in this kind of world where we are told, go vote, it'll make a difference, or we're in this together in relation to COVID, when really we know who set the whole scheme up. A lot of times when we want to share our research and reveal what has been hidden to family and friends, we're afraid of how they will see us after. Just like the two girls, the two friends, they're deciding, oh, what should we do? Should we just get away, or should we tell the other girls? Because imagine if that were us, we would want somebody to tell us. And I just say to all of that, you're like, oh, you're thinking too much about other people's opinion, when really the only thing that should matter is the truth, because that is the most important thing. So the controllers might bestow upon us little niceties like moving picture night in the film, because when we have an adequate enough standard of life, the elites know we are less likely to revolt, especially because we live such short lifespans compared to them, and I'll get more on that in another episode. Another humorous correlation is when they get the vaccine, the jab, and it has nasty side effects. Just as in our times, people line up for shots, even when evidence keeps piling against them, because people would rather believe a news report than face common sense or admit that a new world order agenda, a plan, even exists. So much easier to just go along with the crowd. Another analogy we commonly do, just as the girl suggests, is to get the help of the doctor. She'll support their cause. So too do citizens think, if only we elect the right politician, or if only we can get this bill passed, then there'll be change. Yet the whole time ignoring that the whole system is flawed, and we have to do away with it completely. When the girl is drugged for misbehaving, we also are subjugated into being normal. And those who manufacture that definition that we are all to adhere to, because they're the ones who run society. And if not, then we'll be punished, thrown into prison, just like the main character is put into a cage and told to reflect upon the feminine virtues. The good girls are to report any who tell. The good girls are to report and tell on any who do not obey, just as our neighbors will call 911 if people don't think and act like everyone else, because we're all just meant to be ordinary cogs. The boss lady even says, will you cooperate, or do I need to call the guards? And for us, that is, will you pay your taxes or get sent to jail? Will you wear a mask, or do you want to get fined? Will you work for the Matrix, or will you die? Examine the scene which shows the doctor and the wife in all the pomp and splendor, and they can understand the scale of history and control. That is exactly how the elites live in palaces and mansions, which you and I ensure that they have because of our servility. We're just servants to them, nothing more. There's a part where they're trying to catch a traitor, and they're threatening all the other girls and saying, oh, you can have innocence, we're in a position to bestow this on you. That's the same as when the monopolists declare that they only want the best for us, or priests say, oh, in this life or the afterlife you'll be punished and rewarded, and politicians give these grand speeches, my party or their party. Meanwhile, all the higher up ones that are part of the inner circle, are just laughing behind our back because they think we're all just fools, and they can force us to do whatever they want either way. Now, when the girls find out they, just like us, are merely tools being used by our masters, it's the truth that sets some free, but other ones, it rips them apart. same thing for us. Some people just can't live anymore once they know the truth. We then must make a choice, like the friends do in the movie, to either try and warn the others or just save ourselves. Why do you think I'm making these videos, writing books, uploading posts to social media, and telling anyone who will listen that we must form the resistance and rescue all those who are living the lives of slaves? Later, the main characters address the crowd with two breakthrough lines. This is a farm, and they raise us here like sheep. You have to understand that the aristocracy, it never went away. It just got better at hiding themselves from us. They keep doing the same things that they've been doing, murdering us. And we're just living on these peasant plantations, working for them. So another quote, another one of my favorites: for once in your life, just think. All the girls, like us in our schools, are trained not to know what to do unless there is some teacher, some authority figure there to direct us in what to do, telling us how to live. So until then, we'll just keep festering in our ignorance. Towards the end, at last the girls open their eyes and see the light outside, see reality. That is my hope for all of us who are abused and suffer under the yoke of tyranny that oppresses us in many ways, even if you don't want to see it. It could be physical, could be mental, emotional, and could take on even spiritual forms. Gotta love living in a city, whether you acknowledge it or not. So you can acknowledge you're a slave, or you could just keep pretending that you're free. So if you want to begin casting off the chains and shackles that harness our strength, the first video is a documentary called Ring of Power, and this covers everything, past, present, future, how they maintain their hold on us. It goes into everything from the economy to religion. The recommended reading is such a valuable piece of literature that if it was put into the education system, but never will, we would definitely all view the world a lot differently. It's called The Secret Teachings of All Ages by Manly P. Hall, and it just is filled with symbols and numbers and philosophy that really is the language that the elites use to maintain their control over all of us. So I hope that you'll check those sources out.